Peace and Prosperity Hospital. Healthcare Ethics Employee Training. Ethics is an important foundation within the healthcare industry. Peace and Prosperity Hospital believes in our values, vision, morals and ethics and take them very seriously. It is imperative for all of us staff, business associates, partners, to uphold and believe in our ethical views by practicing them on a daily basis. We are a religious-based hospital with 300 beds. Our ministry is to care for our community mind, body and soul through our vision and moral disposition. The purpose of this healthcare ethics training is to teach and maintain our values through our formulated ethical principles. Our ongoing goal is to promote high standards and quality within our clinical and business practices and our religious beliefs. Ethical questions arise when the right thing to do is not clear or when people disagree about what is best. Our goal for this training is to reinforce our healthcare ethical practices through our principles, guidelines and code of conduct. We will discuss our mission, vision, values, discuss the definition of healthcare ethics, discuss employee compliance, the impacts of non-compliance, and implications of employee non-compliance. Our mission is to be there to assist our patients manage their medical needs and concerns. We take a holistic approach when caring for our patients. We offer compassionate care to our patients every step of the way to help them manage and maintain their health physically, mentally and spiritually. We promote high standards of quality in everything that we practice. We believe that nurturing your mind and spirit will also aid in the healing process of their physical being. Our vision is to expand our mission to our neighboring communities. We want individuals to know that your physical body is only a part of you and that your mind and soul also need to be cared for. We offer support through all levels of our staff and outreach programs in effort to continue our success and the expansion of our ministry. Our values: respect our patients, staff, associates and business partners. Accountability: being responsible, liable and answering for your actions. Integrity: honesty and strong moral principles. Customer service: caring for the patients by listening to their needs. Innovation: adapting and accepting changes and new developments in healthcare technology and alternative patient care methods. Dedication: commitment to our patients, our mission and our ministry. Healthcare ethics are principles that govern an individual's behavior. Discipline dealing with what is good and bad and with moral duty and obligation. Healthcare ethics is a thoughtful exploration of how to act well and make morally good choices, based on beliefs and values about life, suffering and death. The following illustration shows the different principles associated with ethics. Beauchamp and Childress 4 Principles of Ethics. Autonomy, freedom to make your own decisions and to be independent of others. Non-maleficence, avoid hurting or doing harm to others. Beneficence, ability and desire to do good and help others. Justice, all citizens have an equal right to the goods distributed, regardless of what they have contributed or who they are. Peace and Prosperity's Code of Conduct, principles and guidelines for healthcare ethical behavior and expectations pertinent to all staff, associates and business partners. Healthcare executives/administrators. Physicians. Medical and clinical personnel, that is nurses, psychologists, CNA, etc. Supporting staff, receptionist, technicians, etc. Health information technology analyst. Importance of healthcare ethics. In order to be successful, we must participate in ethical and morals practices via the principles and guidelines set in place, which serves as a reminder and a basis to decision-making. In both clinical medicine and in scientific research, it is generally held that these principles can be applied, even in unique circumstances, to provide guidance in discovering our moral duties within that situation. due to the many variables that exist in the context of clinical cases, as well as the fact that in healthcare there are several ethical principles that seem to be applicable in many situations. These principles are not considered absolutes, but serve as powerful action guides in clinical medicine. Ethics, morals and values. Values are the standard of one's behavior. Ethics are the principles that govern an individual's behavior. Morals are principles that govern good and bad. Healthcare ethics impact on decision-making. A moral issue is present where a person's actions, when freely performed, may harm or benefit others. The action or decision must have consequences for others and must involve choice, or volition, on the part of the actor or decision-maker. An ethical decision is defined as a decision that is both legal and morally acceptable to the larger community. Conversely, an unethical decision is either unethical or morally unacceptable to the larger community. Moral atmosphere affects moral reasoning and moral judgment. Organizational factors are likely to play a role in moral decision-making and behavior at 2 points: establishing moral intent and engaging in moral behavior. Implicit organizational pressures may be sufficient to determine the person's moral intent. Explicit organizational factors may cause unethical or ethical behavior to result despite good or bad intention. Establishing a robust code of conduct that describes the principles and guidelines of expected ethical behaviors provides references to the organization's employee, associates, etc. to make the right decisions absent of self-preservation and in the best interest of the patient and the organization as a whole to uphold our vision and mission. Knowledge of ethical behaviors and an understanding of moral principles should be used to develop a reasoned analysis. Leaders must also be able to recognize and avert the subtle, unintentional development of unsafe, unhealthy, and potentially unethical work environments. Test your knowledge. Number 1. Who are subject to ethical behavior within the organization? What is healthcare ethics? What are the 4 principles of ethics? When does ethical questions arise? Employee compliance to ethical behavior. Training for all new hires will happen during the orientation process and must be signed off by Human Resources that the training has been completed and the assessment given has been passed. The copy of the Code of Conduct and Policies and Procedures will also be provided in the Employee Handbook for future reference for all employees. Compliance posters will be posted in employee areas as a reminder and a listing of resources. Annually for all employees will be given compliance training, which will include a review of the Code of Conduct, policies and updates. The training will be followed by an assessment. The training will be provided on the employee portal and will sign off completion once viewed and the assessment is passed. All pertinent and time-sensitive updates will also be posted on the employee portal for review and assessed. All assessments must be passed with a 75% or higher. If the assessment is failed more than twice, the employee will have one-on-one training scheduled with a member of the Compliance Committee, Human Resources and their immediate supervisor to review the Code of Conduct, policies and to identify why the current training and assessment was unsuccessful for them. Here is an example of the 7 elements if effective ethics and compliance program. Impacts of healthcare ethics. Financial. Our organization and/or an agent of the organization may be subject to fines and penalties depending on the occurrence. Legal. We and/or an agent of the organization may be subjected to civil and/or criminal charges depending on the occurrence. They can also be placed on an exclusion list, which would exclude them from all government-supported programs. Reputation. Peace and Prosperity Hospital has had a less than favorable history regarding ethical behavior. This have cost us relationships with the community and severely with our patients. We are in hopes that the purpose of this healthcare ethics training will teach and maintain our values through our formulated ethical principles. Our ongoing goal is to promote high standards and quality within our clinical and business practices and our religious beliefs. Test your knowledge. Number 2. What are some of the measures taken by Peace and Prosperity Hospital to ensure continuous education of healthcare ethics? Name 3 of the 7 elements for an effective ethics and compliance program. Describe one of the impacts that healthcare ethics may have on an organization. Employee non-compliance. Should there be a report of unethical behavior, the Compliance Committee will review the report and determine its validity. If the report proves to be false, the accused party will meet with Human Resources, the Compliance Committee, and their immediate supervisor to discuss the alleged event and review the Code of Conduct. If the report proves to be true, the Compliance Committee, Human Resources, and the immediate supervisor will commence disciplinary action according to the Code of Conduct. Employee non-compliance. Notice to the accused employee. It has been brought to our attention that there has been a breach in the Employee Code of Conduct. The breach is specifically regarding non-compliance of fraud and/or abuse. Although the organization has taken a proactive stance on preventing and eliminating the temptation to commit unethical and unsavory actions, you have chosen to neglect our voice of reason. Consequently, disciplinary action must take place. Then corrective action. Suspension. Leave without pay. No contact with any facets of the organization except the Compliance Committee and Human Resources. And full investigation of the accusation. Determination of the outcome made by the Compliance Committee. Employee non-compliance. If found responsible for the intentional infractions, termination from the organization. Employee will be reported to the proper authorities. Not responsible for the infractions or infractions were not intentional. Employee will immediately be on a written notice. Probation for 3 months. Any additional infractions, intentional/unintentional, will end in termination from the organization. Employee will step down from current duties and will be placed in a non-financial reimbursement, accounting, coding, etc. position within the organization. Employee will be reported to the authorizing agencies and may be deemed fit to be listed on the OIG exclusion list. Test your knowledge. Number 3. Name the organization's representatives in the event that there is a report of non-compliance. Which department investigates compliance issues? If an employee is not guilty of non-compliance, what are the steps taken to ensure that the employee is aware and understands the Code of Conduct? Quote, "Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. Your values become your destiny." Mahatma Gandhi. Please see additional resources below. Final assessment. What is the mission and vision of our organization? What is healthcare ethics? Who does healthcare ethics impact? How will we ensure compliance with the Code of Conduct? What are some of the consequences of non-compliance? References. Thank you for your attention.